In the final lesson in this unit, we're going to do some estimating with fractions. And when we estimate a fraction, we're going to decide, is it very, very small, meaning it's close to 0? Is it sort of close to 1/2? Or is it really closer to the number 1? Now, here are a couple of comments from your book that will help you. And it says a fraction is close to 0 when the numerator is small in comparison to the denominator. Thus, 0 is an estimate for 2/17 because 2 is small in comparison to 17. Thus, 2/17, remember this from earlier, is approximately 0. It's really tiny is what it's saying. A fraction is close to half when the denominator is about twice the numerator. Thus, 1/2 is an estimate for 11/23 because if you double 11, double the top, you get 22, and 22 is pretty close to 23. So this fraction is very close to 1/2. Finally, a fraction is close to 1 when the numerator is nearly equal to the denominator. Thus, 1 is an estimate for 37/38 because 37 is nearly equal to 38. All right, let's do some estimating on our own. Number 1, estimate 7 over 111. Is 7 very, very small relative to 111? I think yes. So that means it's probably going to be close to 0. Would it be close to 1/2? Well, if I doubled 7, I would get 14, and that is not anywhere close to being 111. So it's not close to 1/2, and it's certainly not close to 1. This is because the numerator is small compared to the denominator. This would be estimated to be very little more than just 0. Let's look at number 2. 12 out of 13. Is 12 very small compared to 13? No. Is 12 about half of 13? No. Is 12 almost exactly 13? The answer is yes. This is approximately, and it looks like maybe this one is in a pull-down menu, and you will choose 1. 9/20. Well, is 9 really small compared to 20? Maybe you're unsure about that. Let's see if it's close to 1/2, if it should be approximated as 1/2. If I double 9, I get 18. Now compare 18 to 20. Are they very close? And the answer is yes. Because of that, this is approximately 1/2. 9 is about pretty close to half of 20. 5/12. Is it close to 0 or is it closer to 1/2? Well, let's see. Let's try that same trick. Take 5 and double it and you get 10. Is 10 pretty close to 12? And the answer is yes. So I would say that this is approximately 1/2. 5 is almost half of 12. 4 over 139. Is 4 very small relative to 139? The answer is yes. This would be 0. 15/17. Is 15 relatively close to 17? Yes, it is. This would be approximately 1. All right, let's see what we do with the next one. It says estimate the following as a whole number, as a half, or as a mixed number where the fraction part is a half. What they want you to do is estimate each piece of the sum and then add them together. All right, this would be approximately 7 out of 78. Is 7 almost half of 78, or is it very small? Well, I'd say that it's very small. That is approximately 0. 9 out of 82. Is 9 about half of 82? No, it's not. It's really relatively small. So it estimates to be 0. The sum of those would be 0. So what they're saying is the estimate of those is still a small number, not close to half. Number 8, 5 out of 6. Well, is 5 pretty close to 6? Yes, it's much more than half, so that would be approximately 1. 5 out of 9. Now, 5 is not as close to 9. Is it about half of 9? Yes, it is, because if I doubled the 5, I would get 10, and that's about 9. Well, it's close. So I would say that that would be a half. And then 6 out of 11. Well, 6 is not really tiny compared to 11. It's about half. So that would be another 1/2. So my approximation would be 1 plus a half plus a half. A half plus a half is 1. So that would be approximation of 2. Let's take a look at our last one. 52 out of 100. That would be approximately 1/2. 1/10. 1 is very small compared to 10. It's nowhere close to half, so I will say that's approximately 0. 30 out of 1,000. Well, even if I double 30 for 60, it's still nowhere close to nowhere close to 1,000. So this would be another 0. So I think that 1/2 plus 0 minus 0 would be 1/2. So that's the approximation for that. Approximating just helps you sometimes come up with an answer that's in the ballpark. So in our instructions, we're being asked to estimate whether it's closer to 0, meaning the top is very, very small compared to the bottom. Close to a half, is the top about half the bottom, or is the top almost the same as the bottom? So take a minute and do your exercise on estimating.